Kia ora tātou. Ko Allan Halliday hau. No Akerama, ki roto o te whare tapu o Ngāpuhi. Just so you know where we are, we're up at the top of the north there. Pictures here of the situations that I guess we all endure, the flooding, the power stations, there's oxygen weeds. And some of our challenges are the farming practices. A lot of the farms are still unfenced, so stock can get into the waterways. Tuna's been cut up by the pump stations through the Hikurangi swamp. People still call it the Hikurangi swamp, but it's actually just a floodplain. The entire swamp has been removed, and the whole awa they've tried to straighten it up as much as they could just to get the water out, and which takes all the sediment down. So, causing real problems for the tuna. Plus pest fish. When our group was first formed, we didn't have a name for it, and this went on for quite some time until we did a strategic plan. And we named our strategic plan Ngā Kaitiaki o Ngā Wai Māori, te huarahi hei whakahokia mai te Māori o ngā awa. Caretakers of the freshwater rivers and tributaries, a pathway to return the essence of life to the waterways. So we adopted the Ngā Kaitiaki o Ngā Wai Māori. And at that time we had, in 2012, there was Ngāti Hau, Ngāti Kaho Tōrangare, Te Uru Roroi, Te Orawai, and Te Parawhau. And it all began in Ngāti Hau, and we had a declining number of tuna. So we thought within Ngāti Hau, if it's happening to us, then it must be happening to all of the other hapu all the way down the awa. So, and that's why we started this thing, because there was problems we were facing. Other hapu must be facing the same thing, and as it turned out, we all were. So last year we became a legal entity, but the whole focus was about hapu owning the table. In the past, we've been invited to government and non-government tables. And we came to realise that whoever owns the tables makes the rules. So hapu needed to have our own table. So we could invite them to our table. If we didn't like what they were saying, we could just say, no, I'm not doing that. And it kind of gave us more of a voice working collaboratively. This is a picture, photograph that was taken in March of this year at one of the pump stations. This was taken 8 days after a flood. So the rats have been in for a kai, the hawks have been in for a kai, and this is still what's left. So, and this happens every fair sort of a flood that we have. There's 7 pump stations, and at every pump station of each fair flood to a big flood, we have these tuna cut up. But with us working collaboratively, like last year, the Whangarei District Council told us that by 2028, we'd have an Archimedes pump, the first Archimedes pump within the Hikurangi swamp. This year, they've told us it's 2 years away. And I don't think that would have happened if hapu hadn't come together and working together. We just wouldn't have the, if it was just an individual hapu, you don't have that, that control. And I think there's a bit of a fear about the local governments taking on many hapu rather than an individual hapu. These are some of our goals that we set for ourselves, which we have in place. And this is the data that we've collected. Our most recent one is the monitoring of the awa population, which started in just this year in March. It's been a kaupapa of ours to include tamariki in as much as possible. This is taken at the Wairua power station, and everybody's looking at the alva trap where we transfer these alvas. This man with our back towards us in the green t-shirt is Hori Tuhiwai. He was the man that started all of the alva transfers for us, who sadly passed away last year. So since 2011, over 22 million alvas have been transferred over the Wairua power station. Most of them are short fins, which we're grateful for. I think all of the hapu up north anyway, we actually prefer the short fins to the long fins. Ministry of Primary Industries also use this database along with the karapiro and matahina for monitoring the tuna nationally. These are our goals that we've achieved. Our our annual tuna alva transfer operations achieved, tuna-friendly operations in place at the flood control scheme. That's not to say that things couldn't be better. They need to be better, and they will be better. But I should also mention the Wairua power station, North Power. They've been very good in coming to the party. They've, Hori Tuhiwai, when he first started, he used to fill up buckets of alvas and put them in the boot of his car and take them all over the place at his expense. Since then, the power station has come to the party, provided a van, a fuel card between the power station and NIWA. They've fitted out the van with tanks and oxygen pumps and all the hoses. So, it's a lot easier to transfer 22 million alvas now than putting them all in buckets and filling up the boot of the car and driving around and looking for a place to sort of unload them before they die. This is the project that we started in just this year in March. We had 14 days to do it in, and then we got the floods. And we did this in conjunction with NIWA and with Erica Williams, actually. We got a flood. Erica contacted me and I said, no, you better stay where you are. It's just not going to work. And we ended up having 8 days. What we were initially after was 14 reaches and 14 different awa. We ended up having 8 days and we did 51 different reaches. So, total of 33 individuals from Ngā Kaitiaki, Ngā Wai Māori, Whitebait Connection, Department of Conservation, Living Waters, who was DOC and Fonterra, North Power, Northland Regional Council, Māori Television, and NIWA. So Ngā Kaitiaki chose these sites from the different hapu, ones that we wanted to do. When we chose the sites thinking there was only 12, we actually went over the 12 and as it turned out, doing I think 51 sites, there wasn't enough, so there was we had 2 teams working. So I was one of the ones in our team was the group would go in and do the mahi, and I'd be shooting off to see some farmer to see if we could get into a property, because we could, after the first couple of days, we found out, well, we could do more work than what we had planned, so we needed more sites. So, and most of the farmers were very helpful, actually. I think I only had a bit of a run-in with one. That was because we were there without asking. Yeah, which is fair enough. So we fished these 51 reaches. Sites ranging between 15 and 30 metres, putting a net down, electric fishing. We got Māori television in there twice. Once was for this kaupapa, and the second was for the tuna being cut up 8 days after a flood and still there. And it wasn't, a few days later we went to another pump, there was still tuna cut up at another pump, and yeah, happens at the whole 7. So we caught and measured 485 short fins, 55 long fins, 247 kewai or koura, sorry, and 728 cram bullies, 2 inanga and 2 torrent fish. So we well exceeded our expectations within this project. We intend to repeat this for the next 3 years. So the next lot of surveys will be more intense. This first one was pretty much to go out and see if the population was there. After 6 years of alba transfers, it was about finding out, are these albas surviving? You know, is there things that we need to be doing better? We were hoping that with this alba survey that we would find awa that needed albas introduced, ones that could feed them. And we did find some awa that were really good, low in population, but they could handle more albas, so that was a good thing. We found some streams, some drains. One had absolutely nothing in it. There was one that the other team found. They got 1 tuna out of it. The condition of that drain was so bad that they transferred that tuna to a cleaner one. But on the whole, they weren't too bad. These are all the people we'd like to acknowledge in all of the different situations, different organisations. There's a lot of people there, and probably some we've missed out. But we've had schools come in with us. We've had government departments, non-government departments, Fish and Game, Department of Conservation, Bill Grimes here from North Power. So we'd just like to acknowledge them.